Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss lecture number second related to Aristotle. The lecture number first, the Aristotelian state, is already been uploaded on my channel. You can watch that as well. Today we are going to discuss the classification of government or the classification of the state. These lectures are also available in Hindi version. So one who is more comfortable with Hindi, they can go and they can watch those lecture. I'll give the link in the description box. So Aristotle was the first person who have taken the empirical approach into account. What is empirical approach? Empirical approach is the scientific approach. Empirical approach is based on fact. Empirical approach is based on experiment, on observation. So therefore, he was the first to take the empirical approach into account, and he studied 158 constitution of ancient Greek city-states. And after studying all those constitution, he classified the constitution into many categories. And you would be surprised if you will take any contemporary state into the account, and if you will want to fit any contemporary state into that classification which was given by Aristotle few thousands year ago, then that classification holds true. That state would be fitted in either of the categories which is given by Aristotle. That is why the Aristotle is called the father of political science. Due to this very reason, because he was the first to take in the empirical approach which is scientific in nature. So what is the classification of government made by him? So he classified the government on the two bases. The first basis, how many people are ruling the state or ruling the government. And second basis was, what is the purpose of rule? What is the intention of rule? So these are the two bases on which he classified the government. So the first one, if there is the rule of one person, and if the rule of one person is in the interest of all, then that is called monarchy. Let me show you the slides, you will understand better. And this is the structure in which we are going to pursue our course on Aristotle. I am at the second lecture right now. So, as I told you, on the basis of number of ruler and on the basis of purpose or the intention of rule, he classified the government or the states according to Aristotle. If there is the rule of one person, and if that one person is ruling in the interest of public, ruling for the subjects, then that is called monarchy. That means monarchy is the pure form of government. The rule of one is there, and if that rule of one is in the interest of all, then that is the pure form, and this is called monarchy. If there is the rule of one person, and if that one person is ruling in the self interest, ruling in the interest of his family, if there is nepotism, then that is the perverted word, then that is the bad word for Aristotle, that is tyranny. That kind of government would be said tyranny. If there is the rule of few people, and those few people, if they are ruling in the interest of all, then that is called aristocracy. And if those few people, if they are ruling in the self interest, in the interest of their family, if there is nepotism, then that rule is called as oligarchy. And if there is the rule of many, here many means the rule of middle class, the educated middle class. If there would be the rule of educated middle class, and if that educated middle class will rule in the interest of all, then this will be known as polity. And if many people are ruling the state, or if many people are in the government, and if they are ruling in the interest of themselves, means only the people in the government, they are just concerned with their own interest and not concerned with the greater interest or the common interest or the general interest of the public, then that is called democracy. That means democracy was a bad word for Aristotle. Democracy was the perverted form according to Aristotle. So democracy is taken into the positive sense in the contemporary era, but according to Aristotle, the democracy is the rule of ignorant many. There are many people, but they are ignorant, they are uneducated. So that is called democracy. And if there is the rule of many who are educated, who belongs to the middle class, and if they are ruling in the interest of all, that is called polity. So according to Aristotle, so this is the classification. So this is means given in the tabular form. You can see this, right? So now, according to Aristotle, monarchy is the best form of government. If there is the rule of one person, and if that one person is ruling in the interest of all, then that is the best form of government. It is similar to the Plato's at philosopher king. But Aristotle at the same time argues that monarchy is the best form of government, but monarchy is not best practicable form. If there is the rule of one person, then that one person will become corrupt gradually with the time, and with the time, in in the span of time, the monarchy will turn into tyranny. It is inevitable. It cannot be stopped. It has to be. Why? Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if there is one person in the power, and if there is no check and balances, obviously that person is going to be corrupt in a span of time. Gradually that person will be corrupted, and that person will actually rule in his self interest, and it will give rise to the tyranny. So therefore monarchy is best, but monarchy is not best practicable. On the other hand, polity, which is the rule of middle class, as I told you, which is the rule of many, that is the middle class in the interest of people, that is the second best, but this is best practicable. So according to Aristotle, polity is the best practicable form of government. On the other hand, according to Aristotle, he also considered democracy as the second worst form of the government after tyranny. So, the most bad form of government is tyranny, and second most bad form of government is democracy, according to Aristotle. Because in democracy, there is the rule of ignorant poor people. There are poor people who are ignorant in nature. So, that is a kind of mobocracy. That is not a kind of the rule which is in the interest of all, that is guided by emotion rather than logic, rather than the analysis. So therefore democracy is the bad word. So the most bad form of government is tyranny, and second most bad form of government is democracy. Why the polity is best practicable? For that the Aristotle give reason. As I told you in the first lecture, Aristotle always goes for the golden mean, a kind of balanced approach. He is always balancing the two extreme is always balanced by Aristotle, and same is the reason. Polity is the rule of middle class. So middle class are neither very rich, they are nor very poor. They are middle class, right? So they have the sources for their subsistence, they have the necessary item for their survival. So therefore Aristotle argues the rich do not trust poor, and poor does not trust rich. So if there would be the rule of rich, that means if there would be aristocracy, then the poor people will not trust the rich people. If there would be democracy, the rule of poor, the rich people will not trust the poor people, but both the classes will trust the middle class. So this will give the stability to the state. That is why the polity is the best form of government, and stability is the very important cause for the Aristotle. Stability should be there in the state. If there is no stability, there is no prosperity in the state. So stability and order is the first thing which Aristotle or any political thinker want to establish in a state. The second reason is the poor do not have any knowledge at all, and they suffer from the ignorance. But the rich people, on the other hand, they are very wealthy, they are well educated as well, so they have arrogance. So that is why these both are not good things. Neither the ignorance is good nor the arrogance is good. However, the middle class, they are neither having the ignorance, they are not arrogant, so they are good. So neither poor nor rich are in the habit of obedience to law, but there is the middle class who has the moderate reason and wealth, and they are the habitual, they actually pay the habitual obedience to the law. So therefore the rule of middle class is the best rule, because they would be obeying the law. They are neither ignorant, they are nor arrogant. They have the reason and they have the moderate wealth. And if Aristotle also talk about some of the example like Solon. Solon was a very famous lawgiver in the ancient Greece, and he belonged to the middle class. Therefore, the middle class also have the ability to make good laws. They deliberate, they discuss the things among each other, and they come with a very good law which is in the interest of all. And this has been proved by Solon, a lawgiver in ancient Greece, as said by Aristotle. So therefore, due to these three, four reasons, the Aristotle believed that polity is the best practicable, because polity is the rule of the middle class. So polity is there to avoid the two extremes, the extreme richness of aristocracy, and extreme poverty of the poor people. So the poor people, so he actually discarded the aristocracy, he also discarded the democracy. So in order to again avoid the extreme of arrogance and ignorance, and in order to take the account, so in order to take the golden mean into the account, Aristotle actually went with the polity. So polity is the best form of government, second best form of government, it is best practicable. So therefore, the choice for Aristotle at the end is for polity. You already know monarchy is the best form of government, but monarchy is not best practicable. I hope you understood the lecture. If you like this lecture, this is my new initiative for my English medium student. So I hope you like this lecture. If you like this lecture, please give a thumbs up. The notes are available for classical political philosophy. So you can either go to my website, or either you can WhatsApp on the number which is there in the watermark, and I will provide you the notes. Have a nice day.